Thank you so much for going down memory lane with me. Let me take you back and tell you the story of Emmert's store. Emmert's store was located on South Erie, or Erie Street South in Massillon, Ohio. It was right down the road from my cousins John, Swishman, Sally, and Junior. Emmert's also owned a store down in Navarre, Ohio, which wasn't too far from Mass, maybe anywhere between a 10 to 20 minute drive tops. Frank Emmert owned the store, and his sons Patrick and John Emmert and their wives and whatnot had ran the store in Massillon. I'm not sure who ran the store in Navarre. Never was in there, but nonetheless, back in the day, Emmert's, my cousins John, Swishman, and Sally, I believe. I don't know if my cousin Junior was involved, but anyway, they were said to have stole things from the store at a certain time when they were up at the house there on H Street there at Papa Lowell's, and they were like, the cops, I guess, came up there or whatever, looking for them or whatever, and like, well, we've been here with our Uncle Lowell's. We haven't been down there, so that's nuts. We never stole anything from there. Nonetheless, after that, Emmert's, John and Patrick Emmert were real, if I may be blunt to say, they were real pricks. There was an old woman who walked in there with a walker or whatever, and they kicked that woman out. They actually kicked her out of the store, and they were real pricks, like I said. And I used to live over there next to Emmert's there in a 1031 South area, which was right next to a car lot deal there, and then there was Emmert's, of course. I'd go in there all the time and pick up some ice cream and everything like that and whatnot. And after moving down from after moving away, I happened to stop off. I was talking to the Swishman and Sally and Junior, my Uncle George and Betty and whatnot one day, and I happened to stop in Emmert's there and was going to get me something cold to drink. And Patrick Emmert was working that particular day, and he says, "Hey," he goes, "how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while." He goes, "Where you been?" I said, I moved on the other side of town now." He goes, "Oh, no shit." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So what are you doing up this way now?" I said, "I thought I stopped in here for a pop." I said, "I was up there going to visit my cousin, Junior Swisher." He said, "Get out. Get the hell out of here." I said, "What?" He goes, "You associate with the Swishers? Get the hell out of here." It's like, no shit, what the hell? Of course they let me buy my pop, because if they didn't, I would have threw it at him. That, because that's just me. And like I said, they just get the hell out of here. If you mention any name about the word Swisher, get out of here. Sean had went in there one particular time, and Sean had lived there for a brief time on the Erie with me as well after a situation with confliction with the houses and whatnot. We won't go into that detail, but nonetheless, Sean went in there one time. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He about the same scenario, and Sean's like, "I'm visiting my cousin Junior Swisher." Get the hell out of here. The word Swisher basically was, to them, was bad, because they thought, of course, they said that my cousin Sally and John Swishman and Junior, I don't know if that's, I'm not sure. I'm not saying, like I said, sure if it was Junior, but you mentioned the word Swisher, and to them, get the hell out of here. Emmert's store, they weren't very expensive, but you mentioned the word Swisher, and get the hell out of here. I think Emmert's is still possibly there to this day, but I think if I was going there this day, and if Patrick and John Emmert and they were still running it, not so much their wives, but Patrick Emmert was the one that really, and John Emmert was the ones that really go in there. And funny thing about it is, you go in and you could, Frank Emmert would be there, old man Frank, and he would say, "Oh, you kids come into my store anytime you want. I don't care. You guys come in anytime you want." Excuse me, but most of the time, Frank was drunk, and But nonetheless, like I said, that was just a classic time to go in there. And Emmert's used to have tiger chips. I think it was Kitchen Cook, the Golden Crisp, made tiger chips, and tiger chips were a big seller, and I liked eating tiger chips. But nonetheless, Emmert's store, they were real pricks over there, and if you mentioned the word Swisher, get the hell out of here. Thank you so much for going down memory lane with me. I'll catch you next time.